Dun, dun, dun. She's got the maracas going. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages.
Yes, welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome to the show. Access Granted is back,
Yes,
and it's been a long time. It's so it
it
feels.
has.
We
But
haven't
you've
been on
been,
in what, 3 weeks?
oh my goodness, I think it's been longer than that.
Well,
I
you
think
haven't been here
about a
for at
month.
least 3 weeks.
Right. For
So
me, it's been a month,
yeah, yeah.
and
She,
for
she,
you,
I
it's
don't know
been
how she
about.
keeps getting all of this vacation time, y'all. I don't understand. She takes like 2 or 3 2 or 3 week vacations.
You know, a sister got to do what a sister got to do.
What's
I
going
got it
on?
like that.
How is the new situation and everything?
Oh, the
That
new job. The new job is it is going so well. It's just how you go through a learning curve.
absolutely.
Y'all, at any job, and the one thing that I want to tell everyone, I don't care how long you have been doing something. I've been in HR for like 17 years, and this is the first time I'm actually working at a manufacturing firm. So, and it's engineering at that. So, I'm in a whole different world and atmosphere. However, I tell everyone coming in, you will never hit the ground running. You always will have a learning curve because no matter how much knowledge you have, you still have to learn their systems and their
Absolutely.
processes. You have to even learn where the restrooms are, right?
That's the very first thing I figure out when I go into a new building.
Yeah, yeah. So it's going well. The responsibilities are great. However, I'm ready for it. They saw something in me, and I saw something in them. So yeah, so it's working out well.
Awesome. Awesome. Good to hear. Good to
Thank
hear.
you. And how
And
have you been doing, sir?
I've been pretty good. I hope everyone enjoyed their Easter weekend.
Yeah.
Shout out to my VLF family. We did it big over the weekend at
Did
Victoria.
y'all?
Yes, absolutely. The seven last words service on Friday
Mm.
night was absolutely amazing.
Y'all had some heavy hitters.
We had some, yeah, we
Yeah.
had the heavy hitters on steroids.
Yeah, you did. I mean,
We had the heavy hitters on steroids, man. And of course,
mhm.
seven amazing words.
Yes,
And then
of
of course,
course.
Easter service on yesterday. Everybody came out in their Easter, bests and all of that kind of stuff. And it was great, man. Had a really good time.
That's
Um,
awesome.
I
Awesome.
do want to send my condolences to the family of Anthony Washington, who used to attend St. Stephen's AME. Sis, I believe you know this guy. I can send you a picture.
Okay.
And also the family of Anthony McAfee, who
Yes.
is the
Yes.
ex-husband of our good friend Yvette McAfee.
Yes. Passed
Both
away.
two Anthony's passed away on the same day, both from cancer.
Are
Mind
you
blowing.
serious?
Mind blowing. Yep, absolutely. I'm not gonna get into
Wow.
my
I did
cancer
I
spiel
didn't
right now.
know.
No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
but
Go ahead.
I didn't know Mr. Mack had cancer.
Okay. Yeah.
However,
Neither did I.
fortunately, yeah,
Neither did
that
I.
I mean, I knew him from the school and
Right,
everything, but
right, 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 right,
and
right,
from, of course, Yvette, of course,
right,
I've known
right, right, right.
years and years and years and years. So it's just such a shame. It's
Yeah.
such a shame. It really is. Cancer is no joke, y'all.
Two really good guys. Two
Yeah.
two really good brothers. Yeah, and it's fortunate. And I hate starting shows that way, but we gotta, it is what it is. life happens, unfortunately,
Right.
and we've been losing a lot of loved ones lately.
Oh yeah.
Continue Beatrice Cornish and her family, the
Mm-hmm.
Cornish family, man. Yeah, a lot. Especially my boy Jerome, because I know he's going through it. Um, we have
I'm
been
sure.
continuing to sell. We have been continuing to sell. We have been continuing to sell the Access Granite Signature Long Island 30 half and halves. These bottles are $12. They've been flying out of my truck. I have about 8 left. $12 a piece, or a bundle of 4 for $40. Just shoot me an inbox. Shout out to my mixologist, my business partner, Tipsy Fiend. She's amazing with this stuff, man. I don't know how she does it. She just has this she has like this calculation program that goes in her brain, and she
Yeah.
sits there and she just
Yeah.
like mix one, mix two, and da 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 da. And she shakes this and she does that, and then she does some stuff like this. And the next thing I know, we get this, and people are absolutely loving it. So I appreciate everybody, man, for their support.
Yeah. That well,
You
don't
know,
you get a certification for that, right? You
say
get a
that again.
certification for being a mixologist. I said
Yes.
you
Oh yeah.
get
You got to go to.
a um,
Yes. You have to be a
I think I
certified
have a
mixologist.
lag. I don't know if the lag is on my end or your end. This is so
Not sure. Can you hear
weird.
me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's spotty.
It's spotty. Let me go out and come back in.
Yeah, and it might be me. It might be me. We've been having some wonky internet problems up this way. Or
I
maybe
think
it's not me.
I think it was because when you were just in solo mode and you were talking about the spotty internet problems, you froze for a second. And she's frozen now. Yeah, that's you. You're freezing.
Okay. I'm still from
Yeah, you're still
okay.
frozen. There you are. Yeah.
All right. So you might have to drop me out, but keep am I if I start then drop me out so I don't mess
Okay.
up the interview.
Okay. Just go ahead out now and come back in, and I'll go ahead and bring Grayson in. Is that
Okay.
cool? All right. Yeah, man. She's all the way up there in those mountains, man. And I don't know what's going on, but hopefully she can get that situation straight and be back soon. But in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and bring tonight's guest up. Brother
What's going
Grayson
on?
Moon. Glad you're here early, so I don't have to talk to myself
Oh, hey,
while
absolutely.
she's getting that figured
I'm
out.
just
But what's
upset
going
that
on?
we couldn't cut it up with Alenia a little bit longer before she had to step out of the room. But
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be back. She lives way out in Western Maryland, man. So she's up in those mountains, and
gotcha. Probably a cloud or
every now
something.
and then,
Cloud in
yeah,
the wrong spot, wrong
yeah,
time.
every now and then. But it happens. I live in Baltimore City, and it happens to me. So
Hey,
it kind of is what it is. What's going on, man? What's been going on since we last talked when you did the acapella and acoustic segment?
a lot's going on, man. I mean, like, I feel like a lot of people really enjoyed that segment, and
Absolutely.
my heart is full about that. I've been back in the studio, working on 3 new songs that I'm going to be putting out this summer and everything, and then I've been working with my buddy Shepsworth Bentley on
Shep, the
getting
Bentley
shout out
brand,
to Shep Bentley of the
the
Bentley
Bentley
brand.
brand.
Getting me into all these places that you know what, man. I mean, I didn't even know about.
Yeah,
I mean,
Shep is the plug, man.
he is
Shep
the
is
plug for Baltimore's hidden gems. I gotta give it to him. And I mean, and there's tons of them too. We just did a show over at Waco Street Beer, which is a brewery down Southside Baltimore. And I had no idea that this place like even existed. When you pull up, it looks like a big warehouse. It's very unassuming from the outside, and you walk in, and it's this big, beautiful brewery. And we're just like, okay, well, maybe maybe a sign or something. you know?
You know what? But you know what? Honestly, Grayson, Baltimore has a lot of spots like that.
Oh yeah, it's
That
almost like its own thing.
events that I've been invited to, and when I pull up, I kind of like open my phone and check to make sure that I'm at the right address a couple of times,
Sure,
and look at this building and say, where the hell am I, and what the hell is going on? And
I
then
love
you
that
get up
about
in
the
the
city,
spot,
though.
and it's just like absolutely, it's amazing on the inside, man. So it's a lot of hidden gems in
Yeah.
Baltimore, and Shep is down. He's definitely down with a lot of them. So
Oh yeah, man, he's the sleuth. He's the.
how did you get?
this place? Like, nah, man, what's going on with that place? Like,
how did you guys link up and start working together?
So I think it was just one of those magical things about the community where it's just like, I mean, it's kind of small to more.
Yeah.
I was playing in the bar circuits of like Fells Point and Canton, and that's around the time when Shep came into the picture, and he was bartending a couple places, and he was just hitting me up and saying like, "Yo, like I got some events and stuff. I think you'd be great for." And then we collaborated on one of his unplugged events, which if you haven't heard about it. Not you, Miss Andrew. I know you know about it, but for anybody listening that doesn't know about Unplugged, it's this awesome thing where people are asked to just kind of take some time away from their phones a little bit. A lot of concert settings now, you'll see it's hard if you're in the back rows and everything. All you see is all this stuff.
You
You know
see
what I'm
his
saying?
cell
So
phone.
it's like,
I
yeah.
always said that if I was an artist and I was performing, I would ask people to put their damn phones down because y'all going live and y'all letting people that didn't pay for tickets see the events. But that's just
That's
me.
fair. Yeah, that's fair. Hey, that's fair too. I mean, like, the thing with Unplugged is that like we kind of ask people to step away from that. And I really like the idea of being able to have an ongoing dialogue with like an audience instead
Right.
of it being, what we conventionally do, which is just like, you guys come, sit down, be quiet, I sing for you and
Right.
everything. We were chatting it up. We were talking about what the songs meant. I was able to like give people a shed new light on things they might not have known about the music or anything. It was just a really cool experience. I don't think I've ever gotten as close to any of my fans in one particular night than at unplugged events. So
Wow.
yeah, because you're just there, it's very casual and everything. And I feel like that speaks true to a lot of the events that Shep puts on. It's very much driven by the people and not so much the circus that you bring to the people, or the things you think are going to draw people. It's the thing that's drawing people at his events is all human connection. So, I really love working with Shep, and yeah, we got a ton of stuff planned for this year.
Nice. He's an amazing artist, man. I've probably known Shep probably about 6 or 7 years now, man. We were hosting an event down at the Why Not lot. I think that's how we met. We've been cool, man, and just supporting each other's brands ever since then, man. And I had a chance to host an event some months back at the 8x10 up in Federal Hill.
Oh yeah, I love that place.
Performed up there, man, and just like it's crazy, bro, because it was a quote unquote hip hop show. And Shep definitely has some quote unquote hip hop in him, but he's definitely not in the hip hop box, so to speak. You know what I mean? So yeah, when you get Shep up on the stage, man, it becomes gumbo, bro. He's gonna give you a little bit of everything, and his energy level, man, is just amazing. As my sister pops back in,
there she is.
His energy level is just amazing on stage, man. So yeah, again, shout out to Shep. Alenia, we were just basically talking about his relationship with a brother named Shepsworth Bentley, who's an artist and a promoter and all kinds of stuff here, and their connection on how they met. So you haven't missed much.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Haven't missed much at all. And so Baltimore, as you said, is such a small area, man. And you're born and raised here, correct? Great.
Yes, I grew up out in the county, and when it came time for me to start gigging and everything, I moved closer to the city. And that's around the time I met my wonderful girlfriend, Caitlin, who Baltimore Queen is actually about. It's about like our life together here in the city and everything. So it's actually really cool to be able to, see so many people enjoying this song and, like the light that it's shed on where that kind of love exists in their life and everything too. And I love seeing the messages about it and stuff, and people like posting pictures and whatnot of like, their significant other with my song in the background. It's really cool.
Wow.
See, yeah.
That could blow that song up on reels and all of that kind of stuff, man.
Hey, I mean, that's cool,
let it do it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm so, I don't want to say I'm removed from social media or anything, because I'm definitely not. Like, it's a huge part of how I get to meet people and find new opportunities and everything. But I've tried it a bunch of different ways. Trying to be as like planned out and methodical as possible, just being as carefree as possible and everything. And I'm like somewhere in the middle now, where it's like I just do what I want and try to figure out how how to make it look good and everything. And however people react with it, it's kind of just this thing you just give to people and just be like,
Right.
enjoy this however you want to enjoy it. So
How do you like the art scene in Baltimore? I think we have an amazing art scene, and I feel like there's so much of it that I still haven't seen because I've only known about it for literally since I started doing radio back in 2014. I still feel like there's a lot that I'm missing. How do you feel about the scene here?
I think, it's really interesting to think about the history of Baltimore in, the terms of like the arts and entertainment, because geographically we're kind of located in a place where a lot of touring bands would
Yep.
just, do a one-off in Baltimore. They'd, have a big show in DC. They'd be like, let's go to Baltimore. Like, we're going far up north. We need a place to, do some one-off shows here and there. And, I feel like there's some of that exists in Baltimore and, kind of fueled the fire for like people that just wanted live music. I think we have an excellent live music scene, both in the, the cover genre and everything, the things that you can just go out on any given night, walk into your favorite spot. And, some places even it's just like everybody knows the musicians by name. They're like an integral part of like Fells Point, Canton, Mount Vernon. I mean, you name it. Every neighborhood's got their local musicians and everything in Baltimore. And I don't think, I'm sure a lot of other places are like that, but this, and maybe I'm biased because this is my home, but it's just like there's something different about how close it is here, where it's like you can see people drop like these just professional level, just amazing shows, amazing talent, amazing visual artists as well, just out and about, and just get to know them. And I think that's why I've really thrived here, because I can just go out and be inspired by people all the time. And you still have access to all these all these touring acts that come through. We're not really far from any of the major. I mean, we have one of the biggest arenas in here. Pharrell Williams believes in Baltimore. He's like one of our, he's like, yeah, let's keep the arena going and everything, and then I think they just did CFG is near here too. So, they just had Bruce Springsteen and everything. So it's like, all of this mixing together where it's like you have these big names meshing in this same town as like, all these people that are out here just making music for the love and, trying to find their way and everything too. So I just think that's really beautiful.
Bro, they just had Earth, Wind, and Fire and Bruce Springsteen like 2
They
days
sure
apart.
did. Yeah.
Come on, it gets no better. It gets no better. And there was another there was another big group that followed because I think Bruce Springsteen was Friday. There was another big group Saturday, but I can't think of the name of it. But like Earth, Wind, and Fire, bam, and then Bruce Springsteen, bam. They got New Edition next week, man. Come on, like
my man Bobby Brown coming back.
Alenia, we're not going there tonight. We are not going there. Leave my man Bobby Brown alone. Yes, he's coming. Yes, he's coming back. And hopefully all 6 of them can make it through the show this time, because when they were here the last time at UMBC's arena, Bobby got sick and walked off, and Michael Bivens got sick and walked off.
Yep, and that's why I said, is my man Bobby Brown coming back?
Yes, Bobby. Bobby will be back. Hopefully.
Right.
No.
And like that's the thing too. It's so funny because it's like you wouldn't expect these kinds of big events happening in, one of the, what I think is probably one of the smaller cities in the US and everything. And it's like, I feel like a lot of people, that when Baltimore comes up, they say like, uh-oh, what now? You know what I mean? Like, what happened in Baltimore this time? It's like, no. There's all these cool concerts and art festivals and, people just doing and creating things in new and exciting ways, So,
and I'm very thankful for the group, all of the people that invested in that arena. You mentioned Pharrell earlier. Also, Kevin Durant had something to do with it. His nonprofit was involved in it. And I just love the fact that they actually went in and created a new experience. Because when you had First Mariner Bank and you had who was it, Royal Farms, that came in and put their name on the building, they just basically went in and threw some paint and hung some posters, and that was it. They didn't make any real changes to the arena. This group that has it now, if you've seen pictures or you go, like the inside area is like totally different. There's new seating.
Is it?
There's a brand new stage. They have suites and all kind of stuff in there. Like they really did, and they basically created a new arena without building a new arena. Is basically what they
Oh,
did.
wow.
Like our own little portal to the world stage. You know, all these other crazy places you see all these big name acts playing at and everything. It's like we have that here now too.
Right.
You know, and in a way we had it before, but it's better now and everything. So
And then, like, have you had a chance to like open for any acts down at like Sound? Hey, who's that running in the back?
that's the
Oh,
Baltimore,
she really tried to sneak past.
Queen
Not the-
right
He
there.
wasn't quick.
That's the Baltimore Queen right there, going to check on her Amazon packages. That's what
Hey,
that is.
Baltimore Queen. She really tried to sneak past like we wasn't going to see it. Though. That was funny.
No warning, man.
Wasn't a
You
blur.
gotta stay on your toes.
This is why I love doing this live, man. You never know what you're going to
Can't
see.
write
That was
this.
funny. But have you had a chance to like open for any of the acts that come to like the Baltimore Soundstage or Ramshead or places like that?
No, you know, I haven't yet, and I've been talking to, you know, it's this thing like this. Everyone's super accessible. I find in the scene, you know, if there's somebody in the scene and you want to talk to them, everyone's super easygoing and to talk to. But at the end of the day, it is kind of like
This is funny.
at the end of the day, it's almost like, you know, not even almost. It's a right time, right place kind of thing. And what I mean by that is that, you know, even if I was best friends with somebody that could book me at one of these places, it's gotta make sense, right? Like the act that's coming through has to approve everything. So there's a lot of different like moving pieces and everything. I mean, as much as I'd love to stand in the front row with my hand up saying like I'm available, need an opener, you know, it doesn't always make sense for what the band's trying to do and these touring acts trying to do. But that doesn't stop me from like doing my own shows and just, you know, finding the other boxes that I can fit in personally. So, I mean, right now, what we're focused on, as well as being available as an opener for some of these touring bands who might be at Soundstage or Ramshead or what have you, going out and, you know, getting to meet them, you know, just as another band that's playing these wine festivals, beer festivals, you know, just places of gathering where people meet to just celebrate life and enjoy music and merriment. So, and I find that's usually where like, and don't get me wrong, I think all my opportunities are cool. You know what I mean? But like some of the ones where it's like I would tell somebody about and they'd react in a way that's like, oh man, that's really cool. It comes from getting out there and meeting the bands in their element, you know, meeting other artists in their element. And that comes with meeting their team of people, you know? And so it's just kind of this ongoing revolving door, like community of just like who's around and who's doing stuff where, you know? And so it's really fun to be a part of. But yeah, to answer your question, no, not yet. We're still waiting on that right time and right place kind of thing for it.
Yeah,
So.
makes sense.
Right.
Makes
So
sense.
what in your opinion, what would you say was maybe the coolest thing that you have done? I mean, I'm sure you have a couple, but what's one thing that you are just like every time you think about it, you're just like, wow, I
do have
actually
Acapellas and acoustics. Acapellas and acoustics.
It's a close second. I gotta give the first place spot to my man Teddy Swims. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his music, but I found out about Teddy Swims when he was performing with who I consider to be a legendary act, Mr. Alan Stone. They did this Valentine's Day special thing, and they were just singing all these love songs. Some of them, like they did some New Edition. They did, you know, I mean, just like these, like the Bobby Caldwell, like I mean, like just these great American love songs and everything. And I was just like, who's this guy with all these tattoos singing these heartbreak melodies? You know what I mean? Like, because I mean, he's covered in tattoos. He's from, I believe he's from Atlanta, Georgia, or he's based out of there now. But he's just an incredible talent. I mean, the voice on this guy is correct, and I'd followed his career for at least like 2 years. I got to meet him because he did a record signing at the Soundgarden in Fells Point, which is, you know, I mean, a local record store that's been there for years or something. They're now connected to a cafe known as Luna Garden. So so while you're shopping for records and apparel and all that stuff, You know, you can go into Luna, grab a beer or a coffee and just sip while you shop. It's a really cool experience. So I've been playing music there now for about a year. And it was just this simple busk setup. And I kind of thought that this was a cool idea because, you know, it brought me back to my roots as a musician, just sitting out on the sidewalk and just playing, you know. And they were like, so, yeah, we'll pay you to do that. Can you do that for us? I said, yeah, sure. And, you know, it turned into this awesome relationship. Like, we're all really good friends and everything. And one day,
Nice.
my friend Brian, the owner of the record store, he said, hey, so we have this guy coming, Teddy Swims, and he's going to sing a little show out back and then do a record signing. And then you're going to go on right after him, you know, and kind of crack this joke that like Teddy Swims was opening for you kind of thing. And I thought it was a joke, you know, because this guy's got like millions of followers and like anytime he posts something, it explodes and everything with good reason. He's just like the kindest, gentlest human being, super cool guy to talk to. Like gave me, you know, I look up from my set that night, you know, Teddy had gone off and he's like signing his records in the store. And I'm just playing music outside. I think I was doing some like Alan Stone or Stevie Wonder or something like that. And then when I looked up from my guitar, lo and behold, Teddy Swims is right there. And
Nice.
I knew that he was a big Rent fan, like the musical theater production of Rent and everything. And I think he ended up telling me he was in high school. He like was one of the main characters, and him and his guitarist who are on tour currently, or were at the time, were like the two main characters in Rent or something. And I was like, well, then you should know this song. And I started playing like one of the main themes from Rent, the 525,000. Measuring Love or Seasons of Love, excuse me. Yeah. 525,600 minutes. Yeah. So I performed that song for him. We hit it off. He was like, man, that was amazing. You sound like Al. And I was just like floored because, you know, to me, I'm out here on the street, man. I'm playing in these bars and restaurants and everything. And here's one of my, you know, my up and coming heroes telling me I sound like one of my heroes. And I was just like, man, nothing. I smiled, and in the back of my mind, I was just like, nobody can tell me nothing from now on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good now. You know what I mean? Like, years and years of, you know, I mean, just asking myself, like, am I good enough? Like, does this sound good?
Yeah.
Are people going to like this and all this other stuff? All it took was this one musician hearing me, like, and genuinely listening to my set and saying, yeah, man, you got it. You know, so I'd say that's probably the coolest thing that I've ever done, because I didn't have to get on Coachella or like Moonrise or any huge festival to meet this person. This happened as casually as anything can happen at a coffee shop or a record store, just meeting some people. So, and that's something, you know, I've been to Austin and Nashville and stuff, and maybe that stuff happens there, but you don't hear about that kind of stuff happening in Baltimore. So that's one of my new favorite Baltimore stories.
Nice.
That's a little better than Access Granted acapella.
Just like
I can understand.
we're talking microns.
No, you know what, man? When you get that kind of confirmation from someone on that level, you know, that really hits home and kind of lets you know and kind of gives you that little extra push to keep on, you know. Not that you needed a push because you were going to continue moving, you know, and doing what you were doing anyway, but definitely something like that, you know, that little pat on the back right there makes you be like, yeah, you know.
Absolutely. Well, in life, I feel like is just full of that stuff. You know, you go on for a really long time dealing with all the things you got to deal with for what seems like little to no reward, but then like something like that happens and it changes your whole perspective on something, and it's just, you know, mind blowing. So and so now it's this year, I don't know if it's gonna be like, you know, like this is my year or nothing, but it's feeling like I'm finally getting somewhere, and that, you know, I've gotten, you know, a certain level of respect from my peers, and I feel like that's really freed my mind up to just create and just do and just, you know, play around with things, mess up, you know, admit when something doesn't work and try harder to make it work next time. And you know, now we're starting to see the result of that, you know, in I guess like our workplace, when Shep and I sit down and we say, all right, well, who's the next person we should contact? What should we do? We don't necessarily have to think about like, you know, oh, well, like, you know, where like the most of our fans going to be. It's more about like, well, where are there people we haven't met yet? Let's just go meet some people, you know, which I like the approach of better, because it's almost like a surprise to everybody, you know. So we went out to Frostburg, Maryland, since last I spoke with you, Mr. Antoine. And it was definitely off season. People were not there for college and everything. And we were playing at a little venue that we had found out there, and wanted to do a show prior, like a little just pop up event. Say, hey, we're doing a show at the venue down the street. Like, just come get a listen. If you like it, come see us later tonight, kind of thing. And that's the way we've been approaching it. Just kind of popping into places, like saying hi to people, getting to know people, playing music for them and everything, and then working something out. And on a night at this particular venue where we didn't know if anybody was going to come. Like we, there was a bar next door, and we were hoping that people would kind of just hear it and come in. And, Shep's, of course, out there. I handed him like a bag full of stickers that I had made, and classic Shep. He's like fearless with the energy. Like he's just, I mean, if that man has a handful of stickers and a crowd of people, there's people coming to your show. Like that's, I like he's my best friend. Like and especially when it comes to telling people about the music and everything. So I started my set, and people start trickling in one by one, and where we had like a draw of 0, we ended up with like 50, 60 people.
Wow.
Some of which ended up finding their way to Baltimore for my release show at the Rockwell. In Fells Point on a Wednesday, you know what I mean? Wow. And I don't know, it's just as a kid, who's like playing music with this idea of like, one day I want to be like this great big star. Nobody generally, in my experience, nobody was there to tell you like, it's not just about that. It's about like these little experiences that you have with people. It's about the 3 people that do come to your one show, that make it back to shows in the future. It's that one person, at the edge of the world that you didn't know you were going to meet, that finds their way back to you where you live, and it's like, that is just so cool to me. I mean, I feel like that's really where my job as an artist is, to just do it, just create the art, share it with people, and just have no expectations. So that's kind of where I'm at now. And I think it might be the, how you crack the code. I don't know, because I'm just doing it and I'm happy, We're having fun.
Well, it sounds like you're in a different place of grateful.
Yes.
A whole different position and place of grateful. I think a lot of times as creative people, we do things for years and feel like we're not getting any return on our investment, not realizing those little deposits increase over time, but we have to be in a different position of gratefulness to be able to receive it, to accept it, and to be handed more responsibility for it, because a fan is a fan, whether it's one or millions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I try to stay as true to that as possible with like how I play my shows and everything. Cause I mean, I'm still very much in a world where it's like, it's not just ticketed events. Like you can still find me at like, all my regular spots. I have 2 residencies every week where you can find me at the same spot. One's in Baltimore on Thursday nights. And it's actually an open mic. So if anybody wants to come sing with me, you can find me at the cafe I mentioned at Luna Garden. And then Wednesdays at Tuscan Prime in Annapolis, which I just got that one. I'm super happy about it, because it's like, these are the 2 cities that it's like I want to make my home base in Maryland and everything. Yeah. So getting to go out to Annapolis and be somewhere in Baltimore every week has just been awesome, with just meeting people and giving people a place to just come and hang out and, just enjoy some music for a while.
Right.
But what I was getting at with that is that it's like, I feel like I'm getting to a point where, not like I'll have to choose or anything, but it's almost like we're becoming more and more focused on playing these ticketed events at ticketed venues, or like wine festivals and beer festivals and things like that. And so it's kind of odd for me when I'm looking at, what's most important to me in my art right now. Because it's like, I'm grateful that I can, pay all of my bills with all this stuff. It's almost like I'm standing on the edge of something, you know what I mean? Where it's like, the covers have been helping me just build up my livelihood for the past 6-7 years, I guess minus COVID. And now it's time where I feel like, I was scared before about you know, will I have enough money to make my ideas come to fruition, kind of thing? Because I mean, the margins can go away with production, and I mean, God forbid, like a tour or something like that, where it's just like all this funding is going in, on the hope that you'll be able to reach enough people that it'll pay back
Mhm.
and everything. And I feel like with what the way that Shep and I are doing things, and the way that I want to run my business and my life, is I want to do whatever I have to do to not have to worry about if someone doesn't have the money to pay me for my music, if that makes any
Mm.
sense. I want to do, if that means that, that's selling merch or playing private events and stuff. If that means, without breaking myself to like go and like play all these other things and not be so tired that I can't go play all the stuff that, like my music, and want to go, share my art and stuff. If it affords me the ability to get up on stage and just let loose and just share what I've been working on with people and not have to worry about if we make enough money or not, man, like that's the dream for me.
Mhm.
Like I think ideally, if you ask anybody, everyone wants money for something, you know what I mean? But you know, where I feel I win is when everyone feels that they win,
Yeah.
like that's all these personnel that are giving their day up to give me a microphone and put me on stage, you know what I mean? All these
Yeah.
people that are constantly emailing back and forth. It's like, we're only there as patrons for the performance, but there's so much that goes into just getting these people here and on stage and all that stuff. And so, I almost wish more people knew about that. And I feel that being this kind of person who it's like, yeah, I guess I have like the day job where I'm still singing, and then I have like my dream and everything. But it's amazing because it's just, it all mixes together into this
Mhm.
thing. Every day becomes a Monday, and you don't shy away from that. You just kind of plunge into it, and just see what happens. You never know who you're going to meet or who you're going to touch. Or I always have this joke I share with Shep where it's like, just put me anywhere because I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm somebody's Pepto Bismol. You know what I mean? Like, I might be what you need when you need it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I'd rather be that relief than just something else that you just kind of
Got you.
take in.
Might have to
And
steal that one.
thank you very much.
What?
Glad I earned those maracas.
Yeah, I love the maracas, man. What time is the you said you're at Luna's every Thursday?
Every Thursday, yeah, and it's an open mic. So I mean, we
What
kind of
time
just
is it?
so that starts 6 to 9. So it
6 to
starts at
9.
6, goes till 9 p.m. The place is open until 10. So there's always some time at the end to just hang out and grab drinks or food or whatever.
They have amazing smoothies at Luna's, man.
Yes.
They have
Yes, they do.
amazing
And
smoothies.
they actually, I'm saying we because I'm there all the time. I was like, I own the place or something. But yeah, so they actually just got in. They're trying out this new thing with CBD and hemp. There's like these new additives. There's one for, they're not all CBD tinctures or anything. Like one of them's like an energy boost thing. It doesn't affect the flavor at all. So they're going to be offering that soon too, which I thought was pretty cool. I was just like, you
Oh,
guys are already doing coffee, but they were like, not everybody drinks coffee. So,
yeah,
you
that's
know,
me. That's
yep,
me.
Mhm.
yep.
I
So,
came. I don't drink coffee, but I came to support Shep at his first coffee club that he
oh
did
yeah,
there. And yeah, I tried one of the smoothies, man. It was like a strawberry, raspberry,
mhm.
banana
Oh yeah. That
concoction, man. It
strawberry,
was
that's classic, classic. Yeah, if I
amazing.
don't get that one, I'm definitely getting the green apple detox one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just, they're all so good.
yeah. So look, man, I don't usually delve too deep into bios when people send me bios, man. But
Oh, okay.
of course, I've gone through yours a little bit, man. And when I look at these vocal influences that you have, bro, when
It's
I look,
it's all over the place, man. It's like,
yo, Sam Cooke, Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, and this is the person that you had second, but I'm going to save him for last on this one, Bill Withers,
love
bro.
Bill Withers.
Very
When I
eclectic.
could send my love. Yeah, it's just like good. It's just it's just good stuff, man. Like there's that man just put out hit after hit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You just
No, but no. I was just gonna say, man, like how did each of these guys, because that's a very interesting,
Mhm.
realm. And how did all of
man.
this how did this come about as far as them influencing you?
So So I'm half Filipino on my mom's side, and on my dad's side, I'm Italian and Irish, Native American and stuff. And one thing you got to know about Filipinos is they love singing. You ask any Filipino family, there's a Magic Mike karaoke set sitting down somewhere in the basement,
Somewhere, right?
somewhere in the house. That's what you're gonna find. So my family was really big into karaoke, which was a big thing for me because I remember just being little and just flipping through these books and being like, you know, who are the, who's Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons? Like, who's this Sinatra guy? Who's like all this stuff? And then just getting to hear my family members just sing these songs. I feel like by the time I actually figured out that I could sing, I already knew a bunch of material just from being there because this happens so often. And on top of that, I came from an extended family. My grandmother lived with us to help kind of like, with child rearing with me and my sister while my parents were both working and everything. And when she would clean the house, she liked to listen to a little music. So she put on like, before you could just turn on the music channel on TV or like YouTube or anything like that, we had these CD collections, man. And my dad signed up for one. I can't remember if it was Columbia Records or who it was. He signed up with this one CD company that would just send us a box of CDs like clockwork, like every 2 weeks, I think it was. Or it was either
Columbia
monthly
House.
or
It was probably Columbia House.
yeah, Columbia House. Yeah.
We used
And
to make a killing with them, man.
oh yeah, man, we just get these mixtapes of like all sorts of stuff. It would just be like the greatest hits from the crooners and rock and roll's greatest hits, hair metal, like it's like those commercials that used to come on. It was just like, now experience all your favorite hair metal hits from the 80s till it's just like all that stuff. It's like all I wanna be with you. And it would just be, it's like 4 a.m. You don't even know what's going on. You're just like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I guess my dad was like, yeah, you know what? Let's sign up for one of these. I'm gonna call in. So we had all these CDs, and I'd be at the house on weekends and stuff, and Mama said don't go outside or something, and like I'm just sitting there listening to music, and whenever my grandma would be cleaning the house, there would always be some crooner tunes going on. So that's probably where like Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, Dean Martin, all those guys came from. Elvis Presley, she was a huge Elvis Presley fan. My dad was downstairs playing guitar along with Eric Clapton's stuff. My mom was like a big Donna Summer fan. So I always had this really like eclectic taste for music just from what I was exposed to as a kid. So, I mean, all the Otis Redding and Sam Cooke, like Grover Washington, Bill Withers, those songwriters and singers and everything. It's just like that. They were all within that collection. And I think that, Motown was probably like my favorite like genre that would come on like in just my grandma's daily mix of stuff she listened to, Motown and soul singers. Just like I just loved how gritty and like captivating it was. Like they didn't. I don't even think I thought about this back then, but it was about like that grittiness. It was almost like they weren't trying to sing pretty like the crooners were, or the Frankie Vallis. This very almost like straight tone, very very classically rooted kind of singing, kind of went out the window, and it was more of this just this visceral feeling thing. So when I picked up piano and I picked up guitar and everything, I started playing the songs that came to my mind, which I guess through karaoke and listening to my grandma's playlist, all that stuff got drilled into me and stuff. So I started playing Elvis Presley, and the next song I'd play after an Elvis Presley song would be an Otis Redding song or a Sam Cooke song, or so on and so forth. And now I find myself in a position where it's like I get paid to be that guy where you walk into a spot and you say, hey, do you know this song? And I say, I might, 1 second. And I look it up, and then we enjoy the song together, So
I don't have the Saturday morning cleanup story, because I don't think we cleaned up the house on Saturdays. But like my musical influences, I guess would be the word, came from summertime cookouts, because we used to get together almost every Saturday from like probably May through Labor Day at some family member's house, and it was always stuff like Bill Weathers. It was always stuff like Teddy Pendergrass. It was always Earth, Wind, and
Mm,
Fire. It was always Shaka Khan. And like that, when I tell you that that became like my playlist, before the playlists were invented, that
oh
became my
yeah.
playlist. Um, and it's just amazing because your parents or the older people that are around you that are playing that music, they're playing it that because they love it, but
Hmm.
they don't realize the influence that it's having on you.
Yeah. I don't think
As
anybody
a
does
youngin,
that.
as a child, they think you just running around acting crazy,
Right.
so on and so forth. So
Not paying
I
any
remember
attention.
telling my mother that I like Earth, Wind, and Fire, and she was like, "Boy, get out of here! You don't know nothing about no Earth, Wind, and Fire." I listen, I hear Earth, Wind, and Fire like every week. I hear Teddy Pendergrass like every week.
Hmm.
And you just that stuff sticks to you. So like even now, with all of the more up to date artists that I might like, there's always going to be that place in my heart for like I'm mad that I missed Earth, Wind, and Fire when they were here
Mhm.
last week. You know, I was upset when Teddy Pendergrass passed away because I still now to this day can throw on his greatest hits and sing every song word for word and act like I'm Teddy Pendergrass in the car, even though I don't sound anything like him. But we all have those influences that people stop playing with me, Alenia. We all have those people of influences that we grew up on, and it even blows my mind sometimes when I had my son in the car as a teenager and
And he knows the words.
certain music I'll be listening to 95.9 and the song will come on and my son will start singing and I look over and
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, what do you know about, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they pay attention.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
they really do pay attention, and if you think about it, the music is so good, right? And when something is good, it doesn't matter. I don't think it crosses ages, crosses races.
mhm,
It really does, and it even crosses cultures.
yes,
If music is good, I mean, Michael Jackson is all over the place, right?
yes,
His music
absolutely.
was good.
Mhm.
So I think that is why, because I have to admit that was like kind of how I was raised on it. My dad was a music buff.
Mhm.
He was a
Yeah,
music buff, and that's where, and I didn't realize that that crazy man of ours, my daddy, when he was playing those songs on Saturdays or playing them in the car with the 8 track, you know.
oh my gosh, he took it back to the 8 track. Wow.
But it's the
Yes,
truth. Um,
yes,
I didn't I didn't realize what was happening because I remember all of that. I
Yeah.
do. I remember the feel, and you, if you think about it, it gives you a feeling.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That music play, you can always place yourself somewhere doing something,
Hmm.
whether it was good or bad.
mhm,
Hey. Yeah.
you you
Memorable.
can, and that's what, I think in some instances, some of the music now does not do that.
yeah,
I feel like music now subscribes to a more regimented, I think,
Mhm.
structure and
Yeah.
algorithm for like its commercial purposes and everything.
Yes.
There is quite a bit of songwriting that gets made just for things to be in a commercial and a whole spectrum of things otherwise. And I think that now, because of just how accessible everything is, like if you can hear a song for the first time, just look it up, and now you can listen to it for free for as much as you want.
Mhm.
You don't have to buy
Yep.
anything. It's there. You pay however much you pay Spotify or Tidal or Apple Music or anything a month. So it's like everything gets blended together. There's all these artists that are trying to write the next hit, but that doesn't necessarily mean the
Yep.
next hit pop song. That could be the next song that's on a Bud Light commercial for anybody. For anyone
Yep.
who's so. I mean, but I think it's really interesting what you said about how you can always place, something that or that music makes you feel that type of way. Maybe like when you first heard something or just whenever that struck you. Because I talk about this all the time. The music is more than just notes on a page or frequencies in a recording. It's everything the listener has experienced up until that point.
Yeah.
When they're
Yep.
hearing that for the first time. Because you could listen to. I'll throw out like I used to sing opera, so it's like I'll throw out Luciano Pavarotti, singing some Italian aria you've never heard or anything, and you can listen to that in the car, right? And that won't really do anything for you. But I'll tell you what, if my family lives out in Vegas now, and you just go like stand out and you watch like the Fountain at the Bellagio or something like that, and you hear Luciano Pavarotti's like high note and stuff. Now that's something like that visual and that audio is now mixed in your head into this memory,
Yep.
For me, with my Saturday morning cleanup story and grandma's playlist and stuff, it's like when I sing those songs, I feel that warmth of just being in the same room as my grandma while she swept something off the floor.
Yeah.
Or like the smell of, fresh linen and stuff. Like when, I don't know. That might be like a weird connection, but it's like Elvis Presley makes me think of like folding laundry, like that, just like the smell of like fresh, clean laundry and stuff, just because that's where I was when I was exposed to his music and everything. And so if I'm ever going to approach singing an Elvis Presley song, I'll come with that same warmth and that same, tenderness, for lack of a better term. I don't know. No, okay. I thought I made like a really bad pun.
A pun.
Love me tender.
Pun intended, love me tender. Right?
That tenderness that Elvis Presley came, whenever he sang, one of his songs or somebody else's songs, it's moving from opera into soul music too. It's just like I've always been a student of songcraft, like I love knowing things like a good song can help a poor singer to sound better. That might not make sense.
Wow.
But it's like a well-written song, with instruction, I'm sure, can be the reason why somebody says, hey, maybe I am good enough to start singing, And these are a lot of the same songs we're talking about, songs that don't just stay in the same place like everything tends to now. We have like a A, B, and a C structure for something. It's like songs back then, it's like they would move, and it could just be a way that somebody sang a melody in a verse or something. One person who does that really well is Bobby Caldwell. It's like, you think you know how he's going to sing something, and it's just a slight change, and you're just like, ooh, like, yeah, that was a good choice, Bobby Caldwell. Thank you so much. And rest in peace. I know we just recently lost Bobby.
Yeah.
Alan Stone is another one of my favorites now, because it's just like his songs, it's like they're so dynamic and they change, so it's like there's no way listening front to back on any of his records that you'll be in the same emotional spot that you were when you started listening to it. It's powerful. It's, people say all this stuff like music is a drug, music's mind control, whatever. We're all using different things to describe it. Music's the universal language. We're all using the same things to acknowledge that there's this power here, this thing that connects everybody, and from where I stand, like my contribution to this thing that's been going on and will go on forever, after me, is that it's just, like if I can take one of these memories that I have about something and convey that to somebody else so that they will always have it, and if they ever lose it, they can listen to my song and they'll have it again, like that's a beautiful thing for me. I don't know anybody who wouldn't want to aspire to be that or try to create something that way. So, I'm looking at the songs that we have now, like Start Again and Baltimore Queen, and I'm reading people's messages about how it's just how much they love the song or who the song reminds them of or what they're going to start doing is my favorite thing. Like, like this song made me want to pick up painting again, or, it was one of the things that I got in my inbox, and I was just like, that's so cool. I don't know nothing about painting. I can't help you with that. And if it doesn't go well, don't blame it on me, but like, but it's like, that's really cool that you're going to do something now because of me. And I didn't even mean for it to be that catalyst for you.
I think that's the dope thing about the song though, because, you said that you made that, song about the young lady that walked, behind you.
Oh yeah.
3 minutes ago, but that song can touch, so many different areas, and, it can really, relate to a lot of things. So I think that that's the dope thing about that song.
I'll tell you what, we just did like the YouTube version. I thought that was going to be it. When I some of my friends approached me about doing a video out in the woods with just me and a guitar. And I said, yeah, I've got a song I'm working on. It's unreleased. I'll share it with you and everything. And I thought that was going to be it. I thought that was going to be the release of that song. Because there are things that I write that are more like just for me to get out, than it is like, oh, like, let me think about writing something that's really going to resonate and hit with people. And Baltimore Queen was one of those songs that I was just sitting here strumming and, you know, looking at my girlfriend over on the couch, and just the words that were coming out of my mouth happened to be the story of us. And, you know, and I was like, hey, that sounds pretty cool. Let me write that down, you know. And the next thing I knew, we released this video, and people were like, why isn't this on every college radio station, or whatever people were saying at the time. And so then we had to go back and do like a full recording. And so it's like, you know, why isn't it? Let's try, you know. So that's where we're at now.
Well, you did a really amazing a cappella and acoustic version of it.
Thank you so much.
And if you don't mind,
Yes, he did.
get into that right now.
Yeah, let's go for it.
We kind of get into that right now. Hold on, before I speak too soon, let me make sure I got everything queued up, because when I share it, I want it to be right.
Maybe you and I could take a drive. I want to see you smile while the sun sets on Orleans.
Can y'all hear this?
I need to get a microphone, man.
No,
I can hear it. Yeah.
you can. Okay, because there's usually a little box at the bottom that says "click this box for audio," and I didn't see it, so I didn't click it. I wanted to make sure.
No, I can hear it.
Okay, here we go.
Light shining on the bricks at our feet. Looks out on the water and she asks me what I'm thinking. And I'm surprised. I think it's hard to tell it. I'm thinking about making a move. Dark side view. Won't stone bay. Baltimore Queen. She came crowned from the south side. King of Castile left the castle in her care. She lost a lot of good friends to hard times. Sometimes she blames herself, says she could have tried to keep them there. And as she cries, I dry your tears while I'm trying to hold back mine. Dark side view, four stone baby, a Baltimore Queen. And the water ain't deep. 15 feet never had a stronger tide. And there's so many lights. Think of you in the water, don't look so wide. Dark side view, four stone bed, Baltimore Queen. Baltimore Queen, yeah, yeah. Baltimore Queen, yeah. I said I'm thinking about making a move. Dark side view, one stone bed, Baltimore Queen. Baby, you and I could take a drive. Wanna see you smile while the sun sets on Orleans.
That song is so fire.
That's my song.
That song is so fire, man.
Thank you.
When you hit that note that I'm not even gonna try to hit here, I feel that coming from the soul, man. I feel that coming from the soul when you sing that. And the fact that you just told the story of how she was literally sitting on the couch across the room from you as you were writing it all makes sense when you listen
right
to
about the same spot too. It was like,
right about the same spot.
I built this whole studio downstairs. I still like writing songs in the kitchen. I don't know what it is. It's the acoustics or something up here. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's cool. I like and it's funny because it's like there's things that I thought were gonna be so niche and specific to me and her that it wouldn't resonate. with other people, you know. But like, you know, for instance, there's one line in the second verse, and it's, you know, she came crowned from the south side, a king of cast steel left a castle in her care. Her father was he unfortunately he passed away, and but his whole life he was an iron worker. He was one of Baltimore's iron workers, building bridges and, you know, welding, all sorts of, I mean, you know, all sorts of things. And when I moved in and everything, this was post him passing away, and I was just like seeing all the tools downstairs that were still here. He used to do that, and I was just like, oh man, your dad was like, you know, like a contractor or something. And you know, I just thought that there's something about him being an iron worker and leaving her with this house and stuff that he had like renovated and everything himself that was really beautiful and everything. You know, like that was something I thought was going to be so specific to us. And then like, you know, other people would message in about, you know, being like, is this about iron workers or something? You know, because, you know, Baltimore has this history, you know,
Right.
like steel and all this other, you know, all this other stuff. And it's so interesting because you never know what about a song is really going to touch somebody or, you know, like resonate with someone too. So, yeah. I figured all the harbor references and stuff were pretty straightforward and everything. And, if anybody was wondering, no, I've never swam in the harbor to get to my girlfriend. I've never had to do that.
Just about to ask that.
Yeah, no.
I hope you never swam in the harbor, bro.
Yeah, no. I mean, but hey, it's a visual for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you look so good across that water, I might just swim. I don't know. It's just like, you know.
You've never considered actually doing a video for this song?
So we did the lyric video. The thing is, after filming my video Empire, and I got like a taste for what like actually goes into a full day of like video shoot and everything. I'm at a point now where it's like, you know, I've been spoiled. It's like that's how I want to do things now, right? Like, so because there's so much control and you can really make something look and feel exactly how you want it to. So it kind of came down to how much time do we want to spend moving backwards, quote unquote, and, you know, air quotes backwards, when we have other stuff that's, you know, getting rolled out that I feel could be I guess a better use of like you know, what funding I like, what I can afford and everything. So it's, you know, if there's a call for it and stuff, like I had this awesome idea where I just wanted to get all my friends that were in long-term relationships together and just show, you know, the many different faces of what love looks like, and have it be specifically people that were in Baltimore. So I don't know, maybe this is a good place for me to put that out there. If anybody's watching this and you would want to be in that kind of a video or something, shoot me a DM. Maybe we can start putting something like that together. But yeah, we wanted to use this more as like real audio where people could do more like sharing of their loved ones and like mentioning things that they love about Baltimore, almost like a Baltimore anthem kind of thing. You know, because I've heard a lot of songs about like what first inspired me to even start thinking about a song about my city was listening to Nina Simone's Baltimore. And even that kind of like has this like gruff depiction of like what Baltimore was like in that time period and everything. And that's, you know, I mean, like that's what it was, you know. And then I've also heard a lot of like, you know, reggae rock bands mention things in Baltimore. And I was like, what I'm not really hearing is like a song that's like, you know, trying to like serve Baltimore, like, you know, with a more positive like feeling and stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm in love and living in this city right now. Like, you know, if somebody's got to do it, you know, like I'll just go ahead and play around with things. And, you know, it was one of those cathartic experiences where it's like, I started strumming those chords and words just kind of started stringing themselves along. And, you know, then we had a song. So, yeah, I would like to do a video in the future for it, especially for the live setting too. I would love to have something where we're just showing people, I don't know, kissing or hugging or something while I'm playing the song, you know, like in the background on the screen or something.
Yeah, man, I can get you enough couples to make a video that'll be about 3 hours long, bro. You said nothing, bro. That's the easy part. And tell them they're gonna be in the video too. Yeah, just report to, you know,
just like a supercut reel of just people just being in love with each other and stuff. I think that'd
But
be
they have to be in love, Antoine. They can't be in like.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that just
No
eliminated from my.
situationships. I'm sorry. No situationships or
No,
Yeah.
that's right, exactly. Where later on he's getting a note saying, "Can you not put me in that video
right. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm with
We
someone
don't talk
new?"
no more. Yeah.
Right. There you go. I just had to put that disclaimer out there.
right.
That's all. That's
Right.
all.
Right. Right. Yeah. Maybe there's a tier to this. We'll start
That's
with
too
people
funny.
who've been married over 5 years or something. Then we'll work our way.
There you go.
Yeah. We'll work our
Well,
way
I,
down. But
There you
well, I got 24 in, so I know I can be in the video.
yeah.
go.
Oh, absolutely.
Boom.
So let's get into Empire, man. That of the 50,000 plus streams on Spotify, which has me a little bit jealous because I don't think I have 5 streams on Spotify. No, I'm just playing. Let's
It's
get into
good.
this song, man. Tell us a little bit
Very
about this song that Alenia loves.
So this was I wrote Empire in 2020. This was I get the pandemic was going on in other parts of the world, but it hadn't yet kind of reached over here. And we were still living in I guess the old ways, and I was in Nashville at the time. This was around March 2020. And I was out there visiting a couple of my friends and some studios and stuff that they were parts of out there. It was my first time to Nashville, and I was just super excited. I was just kind of in awe at all the music that was out there and the history and, just these cool lives that my friends that are living out there are living, just riding motorcycles and playing rock music for a living. You know what I mean? And I remember I was feeling really, really good about my trajectory. And I was like, cool, I have connections out here. I don't have to completely uproot from Baltimore and go to another city. I can afford to stay in Baltimore and keep growing what I'm growing there and fly out as needed. I still have this connection. I felt like I was winning. And then as soon as I got back to Baltimore, all of my gigs got canceled. And we were planning, I was working on a small East Coast tour at that time, just popping into wherever would have me play along the East Coast, going to beach towns and things like that, and seeing if I could hop on various events. And all of that dream just went entirely down the drain because of the COVID pandemic. So when I was on the drive back, I had this melody in my head that turned out to be the guitar part for Empire later on down the road. But I remember it was so, I don't know if I can describe it as loud because it wasn't actually even it was a thought, but it was just so prevalent in my mind. I remember pulling over at one point and humming it into my phone recordings and everything just so I didn't forget it, and I ended up not having to reference it because I remembered it when I got back, and I remember tracking it out. And when I was going through all that stuff, it's it's tough being a freelance musician and being dependent on things like weather, turnout, anything that could mess up a potential event with live music and stuff, budget cut, people go a different direction, whatever it ends up being. In this case, it was across the board because it was just people were getting sick and we couldn't gather, and so I figured I would take that time. And, it took me from this place where I was feeling on top of the world that, all my grief was allayed, my fears were laid to rest and stuff, into this very unsure, uncertain time of okay, well, how am I going to pay bills now? Because everything I was, depending on is it's out the drain. I don't have any other side hustles that I can just jump into right away or anything. So I picked up the first thing that was available to me, which was construction and carpentry and everything. I had some friends that worked out of wood shops that built tables and cabinets and stuff. And, they were also in bands. That's how I knew them. That ended up getting me into a construction company at one point. I was doing residential construction and stuff. And I pretty much stayed with that company until music came back. And then I was like, hey, I really like you guys. Thanks for teaching me all this stuff. See ya. And we're still friends and stuff. It's all cool, but that's just kind of the way that it went. But, Empire, it came out of this want to fight these dark thoughts or negative thoughts about oh man, see what happens when you think you're on top of the world. You become unprepared for these things sneak up on you and whatever. Why is this happening to me? I started feeling all these different types of ways about just what was going on with the world and how it was impacting me. And I decided to, instead of succumb to that and become someone that's just like, oh, it's the government's fault, or oh, it's so-and-so's fault, it's these people's fault. I just said, like, I think I'd rather write a song about overcoming, struggle and things. And so I had this line that I had, charted out or tracked out from something that I was just humming to myself in my car on the way back from Nashville. And I figured, okay, there's something here. And, I did something different. I usually just listen to the music over and over again and like try to write out different lines and stuff. For this one, I just kind of sat in silence and I wrote almost like a free form verse kind of thing. It came out sounding to me almost like a prayer or like a sort of like an invocation kind of thing. And so if you listen to the song, in that context, it's almost like, I thought of it like a battle hardened like warrior or something who's just finished up a battle that's on his way to another battle, and this is the song that they sing while they're marching, from place to place to go fight these evil monsters or whatever it is in this like fairy tale that's like,
Wow.
around this song. And that was all just kind of like an allegory, or I guess a metaphor to, my struggles with depression and anxiety, and more so how that was all triggered through the whole time period of the pandemic and everything. And I ended up coming out with this song that I thought was just like really motivational, if nothing else. It's probably, this is one of those songs where it's like not everybody's cup of tea. It's certainly off the beaten path as far as any songwriter song work goes, or it's definitely not in like the soul or rock or alternative. It's very much an indie like checkbox that's getting checked off with this song. But yeah, it was just another one of these things where it's like I just did something because it felt right to do, and people just really enjoyed it. And it, I've had people send me fan art, like drawings and stuff. I wish I had something I could send you. I know one person did like a full painting, with the lyrics and everything like that. Yeah, it just came out being this song that you can listen to when you're feeling like, the world's kind of getting on you and like beating you down. Yeah. There's no way out. You're starting to get on yourself about things because you don't know what's supposed to be the vessel for this, misplaced emotion. I wanted Empire to be that for me in that time. And, now I can kind of pass that on and be like, this can be it for you too, if you're having a struggle in your life.
So now that makes me want to watch the video even more. I've never watched the video, and now that you've given that like thought process of what went into the writing of the song, it makes me want to see this even more. So let's go ahead and get into Empire. Oh man, Grayson Moon. I think I got to put it on full screen.
So the idea here was that it was in like a dream state, like this room I'm in is inside my mind.
With heavy armor, battle worn, and from this grief our peace is born. The war inside us rages, stirring up my soul again. Travel through the rain and wind, places we have been before and places we have never been. Bless me with the strength I need to take this path laid at my feet. Take you there and back again. My only thread is my closest friend. Keep your hands up high, hands up higher. High. Keep your eyes at the sky. We'll make it through the fire. Fire. Banners left tattered and torn, bang the drum and sound the horn.
My favorite thing in this video.
Left is warm, the war inside us rages on. Bless me with the strength I need to take this path laid at my feet.
Yeah, my buddy Mike is the director for this, and his next part is coming up. Took a while to do, but he pulled through.
Sense of pride that send me up maybe to die and fight these beasts throughout the night. Peacefully watch a red sunrise.
Oh, they're different.
Peacefully watch a red sunrise.
Me singing back to myself in the mirror.
Peacefully watch a red sunrise. Peacefully watch a red sunrise. Peacefully watch a red sunrise. Keep your hands up high, hands up higher. High. Keep your eyes at the sky. We'll make it through the fire. Fire. Cross this empire. Fire. Across this empire. Fire.
Yep. And that's my video.
Hey, Grayson, let me ask you a question. Who shot that video for you?
So that was my friend. It was a combination of my friend Haik Kavuchin.
Okay.
So his name is Haik and then Kavuchin, Kavoojin.
Okay.
And my friend Katie Simbala, that's just Katiesimbala. Katie Simbala. I won the spelling bee of names. And yeah, so
No, hold it. Stop right there. I want to know the conversation that you had with Hike and Katie when you said, this is what I want this video to appear like.
So Hike approached me on social media asking, he does a lot of commercial work and stuff. And he was just like, you know, it was something along the lines of, if I have to drop one more ice cube into an iced latte for a slow motion shot or something like that, like, you know, I'm going to give up. He wanted to scratch his creative itch.
Right.
Because he was doing a lot of stuff for offices and businesses, things like that. And he was just like, you know, you look like you could use a music video. Have you ever done something like that? I said no. So we started like talking about it. And he was like, yeah, if you can find a space for us to shoot and like, you know, you just take care of that rental and stuff, like I'll forego any like cost of me actually shooting the video. And I was like, well, that's super cool of you. So I just so happen to have my friend Katie, who owns 2 beautifully decorated film studios in Baltimore. Her company is called Capture, KAP, the number 2 URE. And they do stuff for like bridal shoots and I mean, they rent it out for documentary filmmaking, you name it. And so I introduced those 2 and they just immediately hit it off about camera equipment. And I just knew like right there, I was just like, okay, so Katie's in, you know. And then we went over to her one space which is at Crown Industrial Park. It used to be Crown Cork and Seal. It's down Boston Street. Looks like this big abandoned warehouse thing. She's got a studio in there. That's very much
earlier.
Yeah, it's
abandoned buildings. They look abandoned on the outside and they're magic on the inside. Yeah,
it's definitely you know, you walk in there, it looks like Bruno Mars's like little like, you know, hangout where he like writes stuff or something. It's like super well decorated. Big velvet curtains, things like that. We cleared all of this for the video shoot because when I was explaining my plot for it, I was explaining the context of the song and how it's like, you know, a lot of the things that bother us in life tend to be issues that we have with ourselves. Right. And, you know, so I wanted to paint this picture, make multiple tableaus of, you know, someone who's, I guess, at war with like a more negative version of themselves, or like a depiction of themselves they're not very happy with, a false narrative about who they are or something. So that's where the mirror scene came through. That's where, you know, me being solo in like this black room of just this empty space, you know, of just like thought, and the way that we played with that yellow light and everything. The yellow light was almost to symbolize like, you know, that motivation, that whatever it is in someone's life that keeps them trudging forward when they know that there's, you know, more stuff they're going to have to deal with, you know, more problems they're going to have to face and everything. That light kind of painted that motivation for me, that feeling that you get to keep going and everything. So that's kind of how the conversation went with that. It was we played a lot with color schemes and everything too, which is kind of funny considering that like the video is mostly on like a black background. But my own personal journey with anxiety, like it comes to me at night. It's when my guard starts to come down and I'm getting ready for sleep, that it seems like every tiny, like, horrible thing I feel I've done in my life starts to like creep back in, and it's just like, why did you say that to that one person 4 years ago? And it's, I have no idea, like what like where some of this stuff comes from. It's almost like part of my mind wants to feel guilty or like ashamed about things all on its own. And luckily I have an amazing team and like friends and family and an awesome therapist and everything that I talk to about all this stuff. And it all comes back to either stuff from childhood or just the great uncertainty of what I've chosen to do with my life. I guess there's that layer of like, I could be doing something that physically helps people that are in need, or bringing more physical value to the world around me or something. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just feel guilty about something. I don't know, but that's just been my experience with it. And so, setting it in like a more nighttime, a more dark themed thing in like this almost like dream world, like dream state, like super meta, it kind of, I don't know, it was interesting to see, because it's like, that's what it feels like, like when you feel isolated and alone, it feels like darkness, and then when you feel like you're coming out of that, it feels like sunlight, it feels like a new day and everything. And obviously we can't control where the sun is. We didn't want to have to mess with a bunch of like CGI and stuff, because none of us really knew how to do any of that stuff. So we worked with what we got,
Right.
we played with it, and I think we came up with this beautiful product that I think really conveys that message.
It definitely does, and that's why I asked the question. That's exactly why I asked that question. Like, what was the conversation that you had with them? And I think that they did a great job of bringing that to light.
Oh my gosh, both of them are excellent filmmakers. I teared up when I looked at the monitor that was showing all the footage they were capturing and stuff, because I was like, oh my gosh, that looks like something that could be on VH1 or like MTV or something. It's just, like just the quality of the video, the way they captured it and everything. It was just such a fun process. And, it's one of those things where it's like you come off of set and you're tired, and you're like, I don't want to do that again for a couple months, but then you watch the video and you're like, man, like now I want to do it again,
Very good.
So yeah, we're trying to, get the word out more about like our playing just around town, around Maryland, DC, Virginia and stuff, to kind of just gather more of like I guess a census of something of just like, what is it that people want to see from us more this year? Like we know what we want to put out and everything, but I think part of the key to just running a successful business and just just being in touch with your community is just asking, like just putting it out there, like, hey, what did you like about this? Like leave it in a comment, or what do you want to see more of? We do polls and stuff all the time, trying to see where people can be most accessed, where their access can be granted, like if that's just in like TikTok or, more music videos, or if it's, YouTube, Facebook, wherever it is. And then we just try to go there and, bring the content to them. So,
you know what, man, we live in a world where, for better or for worse, we're kind of tied to this social media thing now. And, as much as it may feel like it's a hindrance to us at times, it's one of those necessary evils. And like the only thing that we can really do these days is to like try to figure out like the algorithm situation, so that we can make sure that we're reaching maximum people at the best time and so on and so forth. I think this laptop that I'm actually filming from, I have a list of like the best time to post on Facebook, the best time to post on Instagram, and like literally like it's so much stuff that you have to do. But I think the great thing about what you're doing and the way that you're doing stuff is that you have this social media presence, but then you're also out there in the community, and you're kind of almost being like hands-on to the point where you can reach out and touch people.
Absolutely.
And I think as long as you don't lose that grasp, I think you're gonna be okay, because the work that you're doing speaks for itself to me.
Thank you
And
so much.
that's just being honest. And that's the reason that I wanted to have you up here, just to talk to you a little bit more, to get to know you better. And it's just like I feel like it's just a matter of time, before. And I don't even know if you're going to be ready when it happens, Grayson. And I'm just being honest with you. But when it happens, man, it's just going to be like, the sky's the limit for where you can go. Honestly.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to that. I feel like that's really where my heart's been living in this past year,
Yeah.
especially of just kind of trying to be prepared for, when more blessings come my way, and when more people see it and more people are interested and everything. And I urge every other artist friend of mine and every artist friend of mine I have yet to make, like, to just put yourself in that space and just create. Just create to create, create like nobody's watching, and then go look at who's watching. Don't it's like, one of my when COVID happened and everyone was switching to virtual, my biggest gripe with it was that I couldn't focus on the music because I was so focused on how many people were in the chat or how many people were watching. And it's like, in a live stage performance, you don't care. I don't care. I've been doing this for like 7 or 8 years professionally. I think I'm going into my 8th year now. And, that if you're the type of person that's like, you don't want to play when nobody shows up, you have to at some point admit that it's like, and maybe some people are like overworked or like, like this is different for people, I think, that are like going out on tours and all that stuff. But it's just, at some point you have to look at how badly you really want to do it. You know what I mean? Because from where I stand, if I'm going to a place to play, it's because somebody's believing in me to give me that platform and saying, I believe you're the guy who can bring business to my slow Wednesday night, or you're the guy who can keep all these people entertained, so that they, want to hang out in our space for X amount of time.
I've been to open mic events in the city where, let's just say that there've been 10 people performing, and the first person will perform, and then as soon as they're done, they'll leave and they'll take the people that they brought, with them. So by the time the 10th person performs, it might be 5 people there, and they shut it down like they were performing in front of 5,000 people. And I'd be like, man, I feel sorry for y'all that left. I feel sorry for you. Like you said, dance like nobody's watching, perform like nobody's watching.
Right.
And
whatever you
in
do.
this realm, in this realm of podcasting that I do and Alenia does as well, sometimes we don't look at those numbers because, if we do, and the numbers aren't what we wish and hoped and prayed that they would be, we would get discouraged and stop.
Yeah.
You can't do that. I've heard so many, like, I'm gonna tell you, Jay-Z some years ago, and this was a long time ago, and this is a guy that can perform in front of, that can sell out arenas in minutes. This is a guy that can perform in stadiums and sell it out in like an hour. He went on a tour, and I forgot exactly what the name of it was, but instead of doing like the arena that we have downtown, he went to the Lyric, because the Lyric only holds about 3,000 or 4,000 people. And he said that it's great to be able to perform in front of 20, 30, 40,000 people, but he wanted that intimate setting where he almost felt like he could reach out and touch the people that were there.
Absolutely.
And those are like his real, true, hardcore Jay-Z fans. And he said that one of his greatest performances as one of his most favorite performances that he's ever done was the MTV Unplugged, just because it was in such a small setting. He said it felt like he was in his basement performing.
Yeah, for his
because there might have been 100 and 150 people there, but they were so close and they were so accessible. Whereas you perform in front of 60,000 people at a festival, you might see 20 people. You might can look out in the crowd and see 20 people.
And every one of those people came to see what you can
touch.
Yeah, and every single one of them came and paid money to see you play like you play in your basement when you're by yourself. Absolutely. And you're just feeling it. That's what people want. People want the love. Someone told me a long time ago, they said, if you don't love it, you're never going to convince other people to love it with you. And so all I need is one person When I go, some of my gigs, Mr. Antoine and Alenia, like some of my gigs, people ask me to come and they ask me to play because they know there's not anybody there. And they know that if they can just get a couple people to stay, that might be the difference. I mean, like these, it's really intimate working with these restaurateurs, business owners and stuff, because people have poured their entire life savings into making something work.
Yeah.
And if for one night, me coming in and singing my favorite songs can make an impact, that's me impacting my community. That's giving people a safe space where they can come and enjoy music and food and dining and culture. Culture isn't something that happened in just the 60s or 70s or 80s. Culture is happening. It's alive and well right here in Baltimore. There are people that are making, structured sculptures out of garbage, and people that are painting, people that are building things out of used materials, just to make a statement about what can be done. And so I look at it as like, when I go on and perform, it's like I'm performing also for myself. And it's like, if that's one more addition to the 10,000 hours that I need to accomplish to become a great singer or to become a great guitar player or whatever it is, So if someone is there, if I'm lucky enough, if I'm blessed enough to have one person there who genuinely wants to sit there and listen and see what I got, I'm going to give it to them.
Yeah.
And that's just the way to do it. And as for what you said about the open mic thing, for all the people that show up just to get theirs and leave, you're missing out. You can't be mad at them, because it's like some people in Baltimore, we like to hustle, man. Some people are like, all right, I'm done. I'm out. I'm on to the next thing. So it's like, I get it, but I would urge those people, to not miss out on that next person who's after you, because that next person might have the other 50% of the song that's going to take you to the top. They might have the other 50%. They might have some insight on that thing you've been struggling with. You know what I mean? And I mean, we live in a world where I feel like artists get taken advantage of all the time. If we can't count on each other to support, who can we count on?
Who can we count on? Yep.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, and ultimately, if everybody did that, if everybody just played one song and left, there would be no shows.
Right. Exactly.
There'd be no showcase.
Exactly.
It'd be a logistics nightmare for producers and promoters. You know what I mean? So stay for the show. Just stay the whole time.
Right. Right.
Network. And really, if you stay and you network, you never know what kind of connection that you might make with another artist that you guys can get together and create some magic in the studio. That's what I tell people all the time, man. Like, stay.
Yeah.
Stay.
If it's true that we only live once, you should take no experience for granted.
Yeah.
And, just stay and listen to the music, because ultimately, like, where else you got to be? It's probably not as cool as where you're at right now if you think about it. So, yeah, but
right.
So I just marked my calendar for not this Thursday but next Thursday, because I didn't know that you were at Luna every Thursday, and I know I can't make it this week because I have a rehearsal at church this Thursday. But next Thursday, I plan on being in the building at Luna. I'm probably gonna get like 3 smoothies while I'm down there, but I want to come. I want to come in and enjoy the open mic situation, man.
If it's nice out and stuff, and you'd rather sit outside, we mic up the whole place, so it's just or we send everything out to all the house speakers, so you can hear it, down the block if you wanted to.
That's a great atmosphere, man. You got to drive over those cobblestones and find you a parking space, but
hey, there's free parking too. Yeah, I mean, like, that's another thing I love about it. I just pull right in, set up, ready to go. So, come on down, sing a song with us.
He says he's in Annapolis as well.
I am. So at Annapolis, it's every Wednesday, and that's 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. at this wonderful place called Tuscan Prime. It's an Italian chop house and dolce bar. So it's like, I mean, they have like great cuts of steak, signature cocktails, like an amazing dessert menu and everything. Very like traditional Italian with some fusion in there too. Like really, it's a great date night spot. It's like also a great spot if like you're celebrating like a birthday or something, you're looking to take someone somewhere special. For any occasion, Tuscan Prime's awesome. Wednesday nights, they're it's usually a little bit more like I get, it's a little, they brought me on there because, middle of the week, it just slows down. They're really busy on weekends. So
Mhm.
you never really have to worry about finding a seat or a table or anything. It's just a good time. Come on. So anybody who's looking for
Okay.
something like that, come enjoy some music. I'll be there every Wednesday.
Wow.
Perfect.
Oh man.
Thank
Annapolis.
you. Thank
Is that
you.
on the water by any chance?
It's not on the water. No, it's actually just,
Ah.
I think it's like on the line between, I think the town's called Parole. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I get off at the Parole exit and then just roll up. It's actually in this cool shopping center. There's like I think there's like a Our House Furniture. There's like a Target, like a bunch of other stuff over there. But yeah, just another one of these like hidden gems, and that's not even in Baltimore. So
Annapolis
yeah,
has some amazing. Annapolis has some amazing spots, bro.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Annapolis is it's amazing down there. And I've gone to a couple of venues where we've actually sat out on the water, and just enjoyed the weather and all of that kind of stuff, man. It's a really cool area. Yeah, man. But bro, it's been fun, man. I've had
It's
fun
great
chopping
talking
it
to
up
you.
with you,
Thanks so
man.
much for having me. Yeah, this is awesome. Like, it's just I really appreciative of you guys just having me on and letting me explain the songs and talk about what we're doing and everything. So
Yeah,
Nice.
shout out again to my man
Thank you.
Shep. I know he has another coffee club event coming up at Luna's,
Mhm.
man. So be on the lookout for that.
every first Sunday of the month we're having
First
a coffee
Sunday.
club.
Yeah, and it's perfect because the first time I went, or the only time that I went, I left straight from church, and I
Mhm.
went down there and I had no problem finding a parking spot, man. I was
Yep.
like, yeah, this is
Yep.
perfect.
You walk around
Um,
right by the water.
yeah,
It's
so
a
I'm
good time.
gonna take the wife down there, man, because she's a coffee aficionado. I'm gonna take her down there one of these Sundays coming up, man. But bro, let everybody know, man, how they can follow you, your website, your social media, all of that good
Absolutely.
stuff.
So you can find me online. My website is www.graysonmoon.com. That's GRAYSON moon MOON.com. You can also find me wherever you get your social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever. It's all Grayson Moon Music, same spelling. We have a lot of really cool events coming up this year. The first of which is going to be on May 21st. We'll be playing at 3:00 at Wine in the Woods out in Columbia. It's going to be, a full 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, of wine tastings and just great weather, hopefully. Yeah, and then you guys can come see me any day, almost any day of the week. I'm booked up this month. We have Wednesdays at Tuscan Prime in Annapolis and Thursday open mics at Luna Garden. And yeah, plenty of stuff coming for like later on this summer and fall too. We're looking at Fells Point Fun Fest doing our own little offshoot concert down there in the Luna Garden parking lot because they got a little stage out back and everything too, where we do the record signings and small release shows and stuff. So probably be able to find me over there. So I'll be around, man.
There's something out back at Luna Garden.
Oh
They
yeah,
have
they got a stage out there.
Okay.
Yeah, so they share a parking lot with the tattoo shop, and so every so often, actually, they're doing Saturday night markets now too. So I'll be kicking that off. The first one's April 22nd, and so that's every Saturday starting April 22nd from 4 to 10. Live music goes on at I believe 6:00 till 9.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a bunch of vendors and stuff out there. We're serving drinks and coffee and all the food. It's just we're gonna be outside this summer, that's for sure.
That's new edition night, man. So I can't make the first one, but I promise
Hey,
I'm
that's
gonna
okay.
promise I'm gonna come through, bro.
Definitely
I promise I'm gonna come through, bro.
do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be around a lot longer
Yeah, no doubt.
than they will here in Baltimore. So
And also, Grayson, I think that you mentioned when you were on the acapellas and acoustic segment that if people go to your website and I think they give you their email address that they can stay posted on all of the stuff that you have.
Yeah, we do have a monthly newsletter. We try not to bother people too much. But we basically just send out at the beginning of the month all the different places that I'm going to be on a little newsletter, what's going on with the songs, other tidbits of information. Like I do, I have this YouTube sessions thing I'm doing where I bring on other artists to share their talent and everything, share a couple songs, and it's just them, a guitar or a piano and a microphone, allowing them to get back to their roots as, a singer without all the studio magic and everything. So things like that nature. But yeah, so if you wanted to sign up for that, you can find that link on all of the social media platforms as well as on my website and everything in the contact section.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having
You're
Thank
me.
gonna
you. Thank
you're
you.
gonna be seeing my face a couple of times. You're gonna look at me like, damn, I ain't know Mr. Antoine was coming tonight.
I
You know, because I really believe, man. I try to get out. You know, I bring artists on here. You know, and like this is a platform. You know, to get to know the artist, but I also believe in trying to get out. You know, to some events and support artists, and you know, life happens and I be kind of busy sometimes, but
We
when
all
I'm
got
able
our own
to,
tunnel,
yeah,
man. It's
right.
cool.
But
Yeah.
when I'm able to, when I first of all, if it's an artist that I like, you know, let's be clear because I don't like every artist.
Hey.
But if it's an artist that I like and this, you know, it's a person that I like as a human being as well as an artist, I really try to come out and support. So I definitely plan on pulling up on you, you know, by hook or by crooks sometime soon, man, and just getting the live experience. You know, it's a little different when you know you're live and you know and everything. So I
I'll be
definitely
ready.
plan on pulling up. Yeah,
I'll be ready. I'll be
definitely
there.
looking forward to it, man. Hey, bro, I appreciate you, man. Go spend
Thank
some time with
you.
your go spend some time with your Baltimore queen. We're not going to keep you too late.
Hey, that's all
Shout
right.
out to
Hey,
Cleveland.
that's just good advice out there, fellas. Go spend some time with your Baltimore queen.
Absolutely,
That's good advice.
absolutely.
Yeah.
My Baltimore queen is a Georgia peach, so I get 2 of 1. But definitely appreciate you, Grayson. Have a good one, man.
You too.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, we
Thank you.
appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight, man. We'll be back next Monday with my man Brian Lyrics. He's a hip hop artist out of Baltimore. He's one of my favorites. I'm gonna just be honest with you. He's one of my favorites. And he has a lot. Yeah, he has a lot of stuff that's get ready to pop off in 2023. So I definitely want to bring him up and talk about it. But Alenia, I appreciate you, sis. I know you've been
Nice.
having some technical difficulties throughout the evening, but I'm
Yes.
grateful that you managed to stick around. And like I said, man, you've been gone for 3 weeks. So I'm glad to have you back. I'm glad that the new job situation is, you know, doing everything.
Thank you.
I just love you, sis. I appreciate you so much, man.
You're
I really
welcome.
yeah, I really appreciate you. So, you know, without any further ado, I'm going to go spend some time with my Baltimore Queen. We will see you
And I'm
guys
going
next
to
week.
spend time with my king.
Hey, and he's a Walbrook warrior. So.
Walbrook King, my Walbrook King.
Give me the maracas one time for Walbrook. Come on, give me the maracas one time for the Walbrook warrior. Hey, there you go. That's my sister right there, man. Thanks to everybody that tuned in, man. Remember to follow us on all of our social media platforms, man. I do plan on having an acapella and acoustic segment this week, so be on the lookout for that. Make sure you guys continue to support Access Granted, the signature Long Island iced tea. We have these for $12 or a 4-pack for $40, man. Again, shout out to my sister Tipsy Fiend. We will be back next week. Spring is finally here officially. I think the weather's going to cooperate, so it's not going to snow like tomorrow or anything like that. So we're good.
All
On that
right.
note, we're out of here. We
All
love
right,
you guys.
everyone.
And India, appreciate you, sis. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, man. We're out
Thank
here.
you.
Access Granted, the
Bye.
pod stream. Peace.